Welcome to another session with the Technologist. Today we're talking about rubrics within the Brightspace modules. So when I create an assignment, I always use a rubric to grade that assignment. And what I've done is I've established a rubric that I use for most of my assignments because I'm looking for pretty much the same standards in most cases. When I'm talking about a formative assessment piece or a reading and responding piece, I have rubrics that are tied to those kinds of tasks. And then when I have special projects, I develop individual rubrics. What that will look like here is, let's say I'll go into my content page for a second, and we're working on some readings from Henry David Thoreau, and we're doing some comparisons, and I want to create a formative assessment regarding some of the language that Thoreau uses. So let me create an assignment. I'll go to Create New. I'm going to create a new assignment. So I've got my assignment created, and now I want to add an evaluation tool. And so I'm going to add a rubric. Now I can create one, and I can create one from scratch by using this tool, or I could add an existing one. And this is what I like to do, is I create a rubric that I can use to grade multiple assignments, and then I simply connect that. I'll show you that first. Now I've created a bunch of different rubrics, but I'll select the one that I tend to use, and then I'll click on Add Selected. So there's that grading rubric, and when it comes time for me to grade, when I select a student's assignment, I just click on the level where the student has achieved, and it automatically creates a score for me. Another way to add a rubric is to create something new, and when you click on Create New, it gives you this table to fill out. What's the title of it? How much is each level worth? If you want to have one section where each of the criterion here are worth 10, 8, 7, 6, or whatever you happen to use. And then you want to have another section where those levels are worth 5, 4, 3, 2, again, whatever points you're using. You would add an additional criteria group in order to have one section with one set of points associated with the grading levels and one section with a different set of point values associated with those grading levels. Once you've created a rubric, those rubrics are available in the Rubric Tool in your course admin panel. So there are all the rubrics that I've created over time. I can preview the one that I often use. So I use a thoughtful, thorough, and complete rubric together with mechanics. And that just gives me a chance to see what it looks like. To edit that, I would use that same down arrow menu and click on Edit Options. But because I've already assigned this to several assignments, it's not one that can be edited right now. If I wanted to adjust that, I would have to create a new rubric. I could create a copy of it and then edit the new copy if I wanted to change it mid-year. But that's useful too. When it comes time to evaluate student work, here is a student response. I can open my rubric here. I can read the student response on the left, indicate the level here by simply checking the box of where I think that student falls. Let's say I want to go down a level, but he's not at the very base of that level. He's a little bit better than that. So not quite a 10, but not just an 8.6. I'll put it at a 9.2. I can just type that in manually, hit Tab, and then if you have criterion feedback, that'll automatically show up. Then the same thing is true for mechanics and grammar. It gives you your total score here. And then if you, for example, have indicated that the assignment is out of 30 points, but there's only 15 points in your rubric, it will calculate that. So that would turn into, if this were worth 30 points, it would turn it into 28.4. It would do the math for you. And then when you're ready, you would either publish that result or click the arrow to continue on to the next student, and you can publish all the results at the end of the grading process. So those are some of the ways that rubrics are especially useful within our LMS. If you have any questions on how to use those, when or why or how, please let me know and I will help you out as best I can.